Exhilarating sports talk coming up next on The Doug Stewart Show in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned. We're about to have some fun. That's right. Sports talk, guy talk, right here on The Doug Stewart Show. Show coming up in about a minute and a half. Hold on. You have entered a no puppet zone. That's right, no puppetry around here. The Doug Stewart Show coming up in about 1 minute. The realest, treeless, most unfiltered sports and guy talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show coming up in about 30 seconds. Yes!
Play this record as frequently as possible.
The Doug Stewart Show
is the best in the world as far as I'm concerned.
This is sports talk for the people. The Doug Stewart Show. It's like the tail wagging the dog. They create the narrative. Don't believe it. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Or are you not entertained? This is sports talk with hot sauce. Texas Pete hot sauce. The Doug Stewart Show. Yeah! What's happening? Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. And this is a Wild Out Wednesday. And oh boy, we got a lot of great things planned for you today as we do every single day. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Bring that beat back one more time. Woo! I'm feeling good. Feeling great. How about you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Wild Out Wednesday, March 9th, 2016. Thank you so much for joining your folk. Shots out and good morning to the Stewies. Good morning. How you doing? Oh, look at all my peoples in the chat room already, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. If you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, thank you for tuning in. First of all, what took you so long? We've been doing this for a while now, over a year. The most fun, the most interactive, the most entertaining, the realest, treeless sports and guy talk show in America. All right? In America. Couple things you need to do. You need to go to Spreaker.com, search the Doug Stewart Show. When you find it, hit the follow button. So follow the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com. And so whenever the show goes live or we air any of the other shows on the network, speaking of which, we're going to air the Kicking It With Kesey show today on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Whenever a show goes live on the network, you will be alerted. So that's big. You need to do that. And then you also need to hit the little chat bubble on Spreaker.com under the Doug Stewart Show and jump into the chat room and be totally interactive with everybody else in there. I call it the Sports and Guy Chat, the Fantasy Island of Sports and Guy Chat. And its inhabitants are the Stewies. Yes! Good morning, Stewies! So, we doing it real big in there, man. And I read a lot of your chat throughout the show. Obviously, we talk sports and entertainment. And we do birthdays. We do top fives. We do a lot of different things around here. So it's very fun. You'll see. Just stick around for a couple more minutes, and you'll see how we get down in here. Oh, yeah, and your host is the realest guy on radio, bar none. A lot of times it takes you here around here. You're not going to hear him anywhere else. You know, you're not going to hear anybody in sports and entertainment, keep it as real on Peyton Manning as you will around here like I did yesterday. So that's what you got going on here on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so what we're going to get into today, Megatron hanging up them cleats, man. Congratulations. We'll talk about that. NFL free agency. Maria Sharapova just need to stop. She just need to stop. Brock Osweiler about to get that money. Johnny Manziel still in the Browns. Dwight Howard in New York City. That ain't going to work. We'll talk about that. And Mike Tomlin clowns his own player. We'll get to all of that today on the Doug Stewart Show. Once again, we'll do birthdays. We do like a little entertainment segment where we do birthdays. We talk about the significant, prominent birthdays today. Then we're also going to talk a little bit about Jada Pinkett. She kind of responds to Chris Rock. And it's back. It's back. A TV show was back very soon here. We'll get to that today on the Doug Stewart Show. But the number one story, man, I guess is kind of trending. People are talking about it in the world of sports and beyond, is Calvin Johnson, former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, player for the Detroit Lions, is calling it a career. And he's retiring after 9 professional seasons. Had over 11,000 yards receiving, 7 1,000-yard seasons, and 6 Pro Bowl invitations. In a statement released by the Lions, Johnson said he would not be having a news conference to discuss his decision, and he had a long quote, and he thanked a lot of people and talked about, his great time in Detroit and thanked the fans. But if you know and have followed Calvin Johnson's career, you know that him not having this press conference and this dramatic type thing like Peyton Manning did yesterday, that's right up his alley. I mean, very unassuming, kind of I don't know if he's shy. I don't know if shy is the right term, but really just doesn't seek out a lot of public attention. Really, when you've seen Calvin talk, it almost seems like he was a little uncomfortable doing it. And that's just his personality. So he wasn't going to make a big thing out of it, man. And when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when the story kind of first came out, I said it emphatically at the time, and I'll continue to say it. Calvin Johnson is one of the best 10 wide receivers I think that have ever played the game of football. He may not have a lot of the stats that a lot of other guys have had, or that are in the Hall of Fame as well, but pound for pound, and you're talking about picking a guy. If I just had the options to pick a wide receiver, okay, not factoring in his team or who his quarterback is, I'm talking about straight skill level and ability and talent, God-given talent and skill set. Calvin Johnson, easily a top 10 wide receiver of all time. I think he realistically could be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but that's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, and in particular this year with Terrell Owens. Wide receivers, they usually don't get in first ballot, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, we've seen that play out over the last couple of years. But you can't tell me that Calvin Johnson, for many years, the games that he played in, was probably the best, no worse than the second best player on the field, factoring in both teams. So to me, an incredible career. The Cats leaving $24 million on the table. I don't know if I could have done that. Yeah. Yeah, he was going to make $24 million against the cap this year. That's a lot of money just to walk away from. And now, listen, nothing's worth your health. I get that. But you can't tell me that players historically haven't hung on, past the time they probably should have to collect the check. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're retiring. You're not going to make this type of income again in your life. And for him to walk away from that amount of money, man, says a lot. And when we talked about it when it first came up a couple weeks ago, that, Calvin comes from a very good background. Like his mama's like a doctor or a lawyer. I can't remember which one. I should have looked it up. His mama's like, a doctor or a lawyer. I believe she's a lawyer. His dad, has worked at the railroad here in Atlanta, I think, for like 20, 30 years or something crazy like that. And they make a lot of money out there. Trust me, I know people that work at Norfolk Southern and all of that type of stuff. They make good money out there. So Calvin comes from a good background, a stable background. So he's never really needed, I would guess, wanted for a lot. He's probably had everything he's needed. That being said, $24 million is $24 million. And I don't know if I could do it. If they want to give it to me, I'm going to take it. At the risk of my health. And I don't know what's going on totally with Calvin health-wise. Maybe, it's worse than we thought. He got over 1,000 yards receiving last year. Kind of a down year for him. But, damn, $24 million? $24 million is basically saying, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, $24 million is he's made a ton of money, okay? Don't get it twisted. He's made a gazillion dollars in his career. And he's probably made enough money so that his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, his great-great-grandchildren probably don't have to work if he sets up his estate right. But there's probably another 2 generations that can live off of $24 million. So, I don't know. I mean, good for you, bruh. Good for you. You got it like that. You don't need it that bad. Your desire, your want ain't to that level where you're going to grind out another year. And, I mean, he's of the age where he can play a couple more years. The Lions have seen this already. We'll talk more about it when we get back, man. I'll get your thoughts on it. Is Calvin Johnson a Hall of Famer? Your thoughts on that and him walking away from the game. If you're a Detroit Lion fan, I want to hear what you got to say. Man, this is the second time a prominent player has just walked away in effect their prime. Or slightly past their prime. We'll talk about it more when we get back from the break. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's Stu for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. March 9th, 2016. The Doug Stewart Show is brought to you by ID Life. Shout out to my man Sean T. Hill yesterday for the great interview, giving you more details about ID Life and how you can actually make some money. If you want to get more information about ID Life and its products or the business opportunity, go to thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. That's thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. I didn't mention it at the top of the show. I did yesterday, but let me mention it one more time, or a couple more times today probably. There will be no TDSS tomorrow and Friday. I got to go see a man about a couple of horses. All right, so I'll tell you more about it on Monday. Yeah, I mean, there's a huge horse sale going on. And I got to go check out these damn horses. So no show tomorrow and Friday. Today we have the Kicking It with Kesey show coming up on the network at 12 noon. My man Kesey is going to discuss the justice system and how felons are treated as second-class citizens with guest host Mo. He's also going to be discussing the book by Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow. So make sure you stay tuned today at 12 noon Eastern Time, right after my show, for the Kicking It with Kesey show. And tomorrow, I believe we'll have the Grizz and the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast as well. So stay tuned to SME for quality programming all week long. Looking at this Calvin Johnson thing, and as I mentioned in the first segment, Calvin Johnson is retiring from the Detroit Lions. It's almost to me like, and I've said this many times before, just say the guy's name. And if you have to think more than a second or two, if the guy's a Hall of Famer, there's a very good possibility that he's not. When I think of Calvin Johnson, I instantly say Hall of Famer, dominant. A lot better than a lot of receivers probably already in the Hall of Fame right now. He's amongst the league's elite wide receivers for a long, long time. He's number 43 all-time in receptions, number 27 in yards, and number 22 in touchdowns. According to the Pro Football References, Johnson's 86.1 yards per game receiving average is second all-time behind Julio Jones, who still has a lot of football left to play, who's averaging 95.4 yards per game over the past 5 seasons. You gotta just use your eyes. A lot of this stuff, and I say it all the time, man, stats lie. Okay, and there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame right now that stats are very mediocre, but you have to use your eyes. Was the guy a dynamic, fantastic player? You know, in the era that they played, did they throw the ball around a gazillion times like they do in today's NFL? And so there's a lot of factors. Did they have a good quarterback? Did they have a good offensive line? Was he far above his teammates and everybody else on his squad? Did his team suck? Okay? Calvin Johnson's been to the playoffs twice throughout his 9-year career. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Detroit Lions have been mismanaged forever. And so I really can't, try to justify it any other kind of way, but by just saying, just use your eyes. The man was unstoppable. Like, I don't think there's too many defensive backs that's ever played in the NFL that can one-on-one, man-on-man stop Calvin Johnson. Maybe one or two guys. Maybe Deion Sanders. Maybe Rod Woodson, a big cornerback like that at the beginning of his career. But you can't stop Calvin Johnson. You're talking about 6'5", 235 pounds, and at the combine, he ran like a 4.3 in somebody else's shoes. So just use your eyes, man. I hear a lot of cats kind of question him this morning, whether he's a Hall of Famer or not. Those guys on the Puppet Factory, Mike and Mike, said that they would take Larry Fitzgerald over Calvin Johnson. I don't know about that. And Larry Fitzgerald's a fantastic wide receiver. I don't want to take anything away from him. But you can't coach 6'5", 235 pounds that can out-jump a triple team, a triple coverage, zone on him. Calvin Johnson, runs that post pattern, and he could be double, triple team, very reminiscent of Randy Moss. The only thing that separates Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss to me is the explosiveness. Now, Calvin does have explosiveness, but Randy Moss had legendary explosiveness, okay? Like a different level explosiveness. But probably the closest comparison talent-wise and physical ability-wise is Randy Moss, okay? But slightly ahead of Calvin Johnson. I'm going to pull up a list. So I got a list here that I pulled up, and I'm going to run down a list from Sports Cheat Sheet. And they gave their top 10 wide receivers of all times. We'll kind of look at that, and I'll tell you, which of these guys on their list. I mean, it's the average list. It's a list that anybody would talk about as far as wide receivers. And I'll tell you which one of these guys that I probably would still take Calvin Johnson over if I had my choice as far as wide receivers. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. We're going to get into NFL free agency here in a second. A lot of big moves yesterday, obviously. NFL free agency started, and so teams could sign players yesterday. So we're going to get into that here in a second and talk about some of the bigger names and notes that came out of yesterday's free agency signing day, the first day of free agency signing. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read some of your chat messages in the chat room. From Clay Coogee Down Davis. What up, Clay Coogee Down Davis? I really think Calvin doesn't care if he makes the Hall or not. I can see where you're going with that. I mean, really aloof? Is that a good word for Calvin Johnson? Really kind of like aloof. I'm not going to say that he doesn't care, but it just seems like he's like one of those cats from the West Coast, like one of them surfing dudes. Fine if he does, fine if he doesn't. I'm retired. I'm not going to have a press conference. No big deal. It's all good. I just want to hang out and, chill out and, not do a lot, not have to worry about a lot of things. That's the type of guy he kind of strikes me as, from dollars and cents. When you have a foot over DBs, better make catches, laugh out loud. Yeah, but listen, you can't take that away from the guy that the good Lord blessed him with extreme size and ability. Right, that's an asset that the good Lord gave him. It's almost like that conversation about athletic running quarterbacks in the NFL. Oh, they shouldn't run. They should stay in the pocket and be a pocket passer, more of a pocket passer. What? The good Lord, gave you the ability to run a 40 in 4.3 seconds. You're not going to use that? That doesn't make sense at all. And if it's Shaq dunking all the time as opposed to shooting jump shots, or if it's, Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss just leaping over folks because they have that ability, you got to use what the good Lord has given you as far as these talents, man. From Clay Coogee Down Davis again, Calvin Johnson is smart for leaving the game. He saved his money, plus he gets a pension for life. And that's the other part of the story that we really haven't touched upon. A huge thing today, man, is the conversation about CTE and about concussions and about your well-being after the game. And the game and the players make so much money today that it's much different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. All right, the scale of the money that these cats make is just incredible. So as I gave the example how if I was still playing, $24 million, I just might fight through it to make $24 million. My brother will tell you that once you have a certain amount of money that, even more money won't help that much or won't make that much of a difference. I tend to disagree with that, but I understand the perspective and where he's coming from. And these cats make so much money today with all the information about CTE, once again, and concussions. A lot of cats are just electing to just walk away from the game. Thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
What's up, Stu?
What's up? Who's this?
Chief Rocker.
Chief Rocker, Jersey Vern. What up, baby?
Hey, man, one thing that everybody missing about this Calvin Johnson thing, and I know because I go to the barbershop that a lot of Sandy Creek players went to. His mother was really sick, man, and she was staying in Detroit. So, between Detroit sucking and his mother being sick, he wanted to come back to Georgia, man. So the best way to do that, man, stack your cash and come back and take care of mama, man, and see what's going to happen.
Okay, so I didn't know that his mother was dealing with illness, and that makes even more sense when you put that into the equation. You're exactly right.
Yeah, man. So, I just pray for the brother, things get right, and his mother get better, and then he get a chance to come back in the league, man, because, he's hella man.
Right. Hey,
man.
Hey, Vern, appreciate the call, man.
All right, my brother.
There he is, Vern from Jersey. Thanks for Vern for the call. Didn't have to shoot your ass today. Thank you. Thank you. I usually would have to put some hot lead in your ass. Good call, Vern. You had some sense about yourself. So Vern kind of says that and thinks that, his mother dealing with an illness is the reason why Calvin wants to be in Georgia and spend more time in Metro ATL with his mother, and then maybe at some point he comes out of retirement. That's a possibility. That's on the table. Once again, in relative terms, he's retiring at a fairly young age and still has a lot left in the tank. He's had a couple of nagging injuries over the last couple of years, but nothing that the best trainers and physicians could deal with, and that teams would pay big money for. It's going to be another 2 or 3 years before, you say to yourself as a team and as an organization, we'd rather take this guy than Calvin Johnson. He has that much ability and even that much more in the tank, I believe. All right, when we get back from the break, I pulled up a little list, as I mentioned, of the top 10 wide receivers of all times. I'm not even sure I agree with the names they have on this list. But we'll look at this list, and I'll tell you, where I would put Calvin in the conversation. Once again, not some of the best numbers that you've seen in the league, but talent-wise, at the very, very top. All right? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Protect yourself at all times. The referee issues that reminder because it's important to a fighter's safety and success. Doug Stewart here to tell you about the team at Strickland Security and remind you that living in the metro Atlanta area is sometimes like boxing. You've got to protect yourself at all times. There's nothing more important than ensuring the safety of your family and your home. And for business owners, protecting your business is critical because it's your livelihood. Strickland Security can satisfy all of your security needs. The staff at Strickland Security has a combined 55 years of experience protecting people and property. From alarm systems to uniformed security guards and everything in between. Strickland Security has an affordable solution for you. To see a list of all the security services they offer, visit their website at stricklandsecurity.com or give them a call at 800-422-9075. Again, that's stricklandsecurity.com or give them a call at 800-422-9075.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. March 9th, 2016. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Did you know that the Doug Stewart Show right here on Stewart Media and Entertainment can interview you on the show, like an infomercial type thing, promote you on our social media? We do voiceovers, host or speak at your event, play your music on the show as well. And the big thing we're doing is broadcasting other shows on the network, like the Kicking It with Kesey show, coming up today at 12 noon right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. So if you have a good show, but you don't have a lot of listeners, we can help you out in that aspect. We have over 10,000 followers to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. All right? So it's kind of like cross-promotion. And we're trying to build a network. So if you have a good show or know somebody that has a good show but they don't have a huge following, it's tough to get people to listen to your show online. Email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedugstewartshow.com. So I just pulled up another list. All right, before I get to that, let me go ahead and grab a call. Another call. Thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, dollars and cents, sir.
Dollars and cents. What up, baby?
What's going on? Hey, my brother, you know what? I'm okay with you missing 2 days if you can procure some valuable Arabian horses out there, brother.
That's what I'm doing, man. I'm on a horse trek. I'm trying to find the best horses in the world, brother.
Look, man, I'm calling because, you know what, I'm sure nobody's going to say something, but damn it, I got a major problem with Mike Tomlin telling another grown-ass man not to tweet about Peyton Manning on his own time in the off season, and then calling him out like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That to me, you know, it makes no sense. If it was a white head coach that did the same thing to D'Angelo Williams, everybody would be screaming, "Yo, Uncle Tom," and he's trying to, you know, treat him like a slave and everything else. Why does he get a free pass on that, Doug?
I don't know, and I was going to talk about that. Appreciate the call, ducking and dodging. I was going to talk about the Mike Tomlin thing. Since you brought it up, if you haven't heard, man, Mike Tomlin. You heard the whole controversy. We talked about it yesterday on the Doug Stewart Show. The whole controversy with D'Angelo Williams, which I actually broke it down to the listeners yesterday, whereas nobody else is giving you the whole story. Everybody else, and I mean to a man and to an entity, all the other media outlets are just reporting the tweets that D'Angelo Williams sent out as it pertains to Peyton Manning and how bad he was last year in the NFL. Nobody is reporting, except for us here on the Doug Stewart Show, that D'Angelo Williams' tweets were in response to a media guy's post that, you know, Peyton Manning still can play and he's better than a lot of quarterbacks today. D'Angelo's point was that early in the year when all of the media people were saying Peyton's done and he's lost to step 2, 3, or 4, that why now, because he's retiring, do y'all have this love affair with him? And y'all talking about he can still play. He can't still play. He sucks. You know, and there's still questions about, you know, Peyton Manning and allegedly the St. Louis Rams, now the Los Angeles Rams, was going hard trying to get Peyton Manning to come be their quarterback. And for the life of me, I don't get it. D'Angelo Williams didn't get it either. But his coach in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, came out with his own tweet, and he says, D-Will, quit while you are behind. Really? He put hashtag really. Now, I'm a fan of Mike Tomlin, but I don't get this at all. like ducking and dodging said, I don't get this at all. D'Angelo Williams, a grown-ass man. And what he does on his Twitter account in the off season in regards to a Twitter debate, in effect, with a news guy, has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin. Like does Mike Tomlin owe Peyton Manning some money or something like that? Like, are they related? Are they like distant cousins or something like that? I don't get this at all. And once again, it's hard for me to really speak critical of Mike Tomlin, and ducking and dodging did make a very good point. If a white coach has said the same thing, if D'Angelo Williams played on a team that had a white coach and the white coach had come out and said the same things about D'Angelo Williams, then in effect, black people all over the world would be going crazy right now. And I don't know where this is coming from, so it's hard for me to really give a strong opinion because I respect Mike Tomlin. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. Obviously, I root for black coaches. So, like part of me wants to give him a pass, but the other part of me wants to, like, go ham on him. I really just don't understand why he would go there. Like, why would he even stick his nose in this where it has nothing to do with him? And in relative terms, it's a very small thing. It's not football related at all. Like, why are you defending Peyton Manning to this national degree on Twitter like this? Why would you do that? It's definitely a bad look in my book. And if it was Friday, if it was Friday, his ass would be nominated for a Ball Penis Award. Okay? A Stacey Dash Ball Penis Award. If you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, every Friday we give out a Buster Award for the week. We actually renamed it the Stacey Dash Ball Penis Award. It's a long story about the whole ball penis thing. Ask somebody in the chat room and they'll tell you about it. But if today was Friday, he would be a nominee. Him and the runaway winner, Cat Williams, but hey, he'd be a nominee. Okay? So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, man? Hit me on Spreaker in the chat room on Spreaker.com, the Doug Stewart Show chat room. I'll get and read some of your thoughts on that a little bit later. But back to the Calvin Johnson thing. I pulled up the top 10 greatest receivers of all time from a website called sportscheat.com. And so they put a lot of effort into this, and they pull up all of the stats and everything. I'm just going to go down their top 10 list. Number 10, they have James Lofton. James Lofton, I believe, is a Hall of Famer, man. One of the best players to ever play in the game. Wide receiver, played for many, many years. I remember Lofton with Green Bay and the Buffalo Bills. I would take Calvin Johnson before James Lofton. So right now I have Calvin Johnson at 10. Marvin Harrison, who just got in or nominated or voted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I love Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, though, and I got to be honest, Marvin Harrison has benefited greatly from a system and the fact that in Indianapolis, they threw the ball around a gazillion times. Many times they had 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets. So it's much different today than it was, once again, 25, 30 years ago, where Lynn Swann had very menial stats in relative terms and is a Hall of Famer, to today's NFL. Would I take Calvin Johnson over Marvin Harrison if I had these two guys on the sideline and I'm picking teams, on the playground? I would. Marvin Harrison's going to the Hall of Fame. Calvin Johnson is yet to be determined. But this is the way I'm answering this question. I would take, if I had my choice, I would take Marvin Harrison. I think that Calvin Johnson would be just as dominant in any system that you put him in the NFL. Any team, any quarterback, he would be just as dominant. Not so sure if Marvin Harrison would have been as accomplished as he was in Indianapolis with another system, another team, another organization. Steve Largent, sorry, Steve Largent, fantastic player. I used to always think that the Seattle Seahawks uniform was cool back in the day with the long neck bird and everything like that. Jim Zorn was the quarterback. Kurt Warner, the first Kurt Warner was the running back, or Jim Zorn was the quarterback. But I would take Calvin Johnson over Steve Largent. So right now I've got Calvin Johnson in number 8 taking Steve Largent's place. Number 7, they've got Terrell Owens. That's almost a coin toss because Terrell Owens was dynamic. To me, this is a coin toss. Very even keel. I think Boy, I couldn't make a decision. Let me put a check mark by that name and move on to number 6. Lynn Swann. They've got Lynn Swann at number 6. We just talked about his Menio stats, 336 catches for his career, 5,462 yards, and only 51 touchdowns. The game is very different today. Lynn Swann was that dude, phenomenal player. But yes, if I had my choice, I would take Calvin Johnson before Lynn Swann. Michael Irvin at number 5. I think that I would still take Michael Irvin before Calvin Johnson. But once again, this is a question mark. This is a coin toss as well, because Calvin's obviously a better, bigger specimen, more athletic than Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin was a beast. But he's basically Michael Irvin 2.0. Big receiver, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Big receiver, all the skills, but just a little bit bigger than Calvin Johnson and a little bit faster, and probably a lot faster. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. That's another toss-up. So I'm putting Calvin Johnson on the even keel with Michael Irvin and with Terrell Owens right now at this point. I need to think about those two a little bit more. Tim Brown, yes, I would take Calvin Johnson before Tim Brown. They have Tim Brown at number 4. To me, Tim Brown was always a great receiver, always a fantastic receiver. But Tim Brown, to me, my sentiment about Tim Brown when he came out of Notre Dame was almost even on him being a return guy and a wide receiver. And if you remember him at Notre Dame, that was kind of like the big thing, is he was a return guy. But a phenomenal player, phenomenal wide receiver, made himself into one of the best wide receivers in NFL history. Number 4 is Tim Brown. I would take Calvin Johnson before I would take Tim Brown. Number 3, Randy Moss. No. Number 2, Don Hudson. I don't know a damn thing about Don Hudson. Don Hudson played back in... You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Don Hudson played back in 1942. For his career, okay, he caught 74 balls, 1,211 yards, and 17 touchdowns over 11 games. Okay, and I believe that was in one particular season. So yes, I would take Calvin Johnson over Don Hudson. And lastly, you know who they've got. A lot of people call him the GOAT, the greatest wide receiver of all time, Calvin, or Randy, or get it right, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is the number 1 wide receiver of all time. So based on the names that we just looked at just now on this top 10 list from cheatsheet.com, and obviously they put in a ton of work. They aren't a household name or entity, but they put in a ton of work and doing some research, and those are the 10 names they came up with. At this point, looking at that list, I have Calvin Johnson like at 5 or 6. 5, 6, no more than 7, I believe, all time, if you're talking about those guys. Now, there's been a lot of other receivers that weren't mentioned in this list that a lot of people can make an argument for, but for the sake of this show and just keeping it real, small, and compact and talking about Calvin Johnson today, I think I would have him at 5, 6, 7 of all time. As far as guys I would take, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if I had my choice and pick of wide receiver, not factoring in the stats. Once again, I know a lot of you are like, man, are you crazy? You would take some? No. If you're just going to go on stats, you can just go on stats, and there's no debate. There's no conversation. There's no barbershop talk to that. Just look at the stats. Jerry Rice had more stats than anybody else. Who else had the next most stats? Probably Marvin Harrison, not too far behind, and Terrell Owens. So I don't think you can always look at stats when you talk about something like this. You have this type of debate. Calvin Johnson was that dude, talent-wise, ability, what he did on the field as well, with sorry teams, is one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen in my life. All right, when we get back from the break, man, NFL free agency started yesterday. We'll talk about some of the prominent names and where they're going. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. What is ID Life? Well, over the last 18 years, a group of scientists and doctors have been working on the development of a one-of-a-kind nutritional supplement program that takes all the guesswork out of what you need and delivers your truly personalized pharmaceutical-grade nutrition with your name on it directly to your door. Through the integration of thousands of medical and scientific studies, answers you provide to the free assessment, and more than 5,470 algorithms that process the data, ID Nutrition recommends what you need, leaves out what you don't, and blocks things known to the system to have possible adverse effects based on the answers you provide. The result is a program that is revolutionizing the health and wellness industry. Welcome to ID Life. For more information, just go to thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. That's thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Rap to you real quick. I want to enjoy the luxury of like not knowing each other for real. Hold up.
Lotus flower bound, firefly. When I'm low, she take me high.
If you're not stewing, what the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. 12 noon today, the Kicking It with Kesey Show, doing what he does, real big woolly style, right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. I'm going to get to some of your chat here in a second. Thank you for tuning in. The Doug Stewart Show is brought to you by ID Life. What is ID Life? ID Life is an industry game changer. Sleep and skincare products, shakes, energy chews, and energy drinks, snack bars, hydrate and appetite control, pre- and post-workout products. All right, and it's all individualized nutrition. What that means is if you go to the DougStewartShow.idlife.com, that's the DougStewartShow.idlife.com, you can take a free assessment. It's like yes or no questions. And after like 5-10 minutes of you doing that, ID Life develops supplements specifically for you based on the answers you gave. So once again, that's the DougStewartShow.idlife.com. So NFL free agency kicked off on yesterday. And a couple of prominent names yesterday. Jason Pierre-Paul is going to return to the Giants. The defensive end is expected to sign a one-year deal. It's going to be up to about $10.5 million. So there was a lot of controversy surrounding him this year. Obviously, he was supposed to or had a contract offer from the New York Giants, didn't sign it, and in between that time blew off his damn fingers in a 4th of July fireworks accident. But he is going to come back to the Giants, and I guess 1 year, all right, for a one-year deal. He's going to go out there and ball out of control and show and that he's healthy and that the hand is not an issue. And he'll probably sign a long-term, big-ass deal come this time next year. Also, Tamba Ali, sticking with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's reached an agreement on a 3-year deal that will enable the linebacker to finish his career in Kansas City. Benjamin Watson agrees to a deal with the Ravens. 35-year-old tight end who had a career in 2015, had a great career year last year with the New Orleans Saints, is headed to Baltimore. So Ozzie Newsome, the GM, always finds these diamonds in the rough, man. And if Baltimore signs him, that he still has a lot in the tank and he still can get it done. One of the best athletes that you will ever see play in the game of football. Leotis McKelvin, longtime Buffalo Bill, is headed to Philadelphia. He's cut by the Bills last week and agreed to a 2-year contract with the Eagles. Mario Williams agrees to a deal with the Dolphins. He signed a 2-year deal after being released by Buffalo in a salary cap type move. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Would you call Mario Williams? I think bust is too harsh. He was the number 1 pick in the draft. That particular year that he came out in the draft, was that the same draft where Reggie Bush came out as well? Reggie Bush and I think Vince Young both came out the same draft, and there was a lot of, mad, angry people in Houston when the Texans took Mario Williams as opposed to, Reggie Bush, who was a dynamic playmaker, and everybody thought that he was going to be the next, big running back in the NFL. I never thought that. I always thought that he was kind of like a third down back type player, and that's pretty much proven to be the case. But Vince Young was another question. The fact that he played in the state of Texas and what he had just done in the national championship game, and you started to see the game of football kind of, move more into that direction of an athletic type quarterback and running those spread type plays. Like, I really would have felt some type of way knowing a guy from the state that had such great success and had such great upside, and we needed a quarterback. And you know how you always need a quarterback in the NFL. I would have probably felt some type of way had the Houston Texans not drafted him. In relative terms, though, Mario Williams has had a great career. Double-digit sacks for the last couple of years. I just think that we probably kind of think that he should have even been better than he has been. He's been very solid. He hadn't been great, but he's been very solid. It's not like my homeboy Courtney Brown. No disrespect to him if I got some of my home people listening. You remember Courtney Brown played defensive end for Penn State and was drafted the number 1 pick in the draft out of college to Denver, I believe. It was either Denver or Cleveland. I can't remember. Maybe he finished his career in Denver. Maybe it was Cleveland. And excuse me, and really didn't do pretty much nothing in the NFL. There's a big difference between Mario Williams and what he's done throughout his career. And for example, the first name that came, to mind was Courtney Brown. Charles Johnson staying with the Carolina Panthers. He had kind of visited a couple other teams, visited the Giants and the Buccaneers, but he's going to stay in Carolina. I know they're happy to hear about that there in Charlotte. Here's kind of a surprising one. To me, it's kind of surprising, and I'll tell you why in a second, but Bruce Irvin is leaving the Seattle Seahawks and he's going to the Oakland Raiders to kind of team up with Khalil Mack. You talk about a devastating pass rush the Raiders going to have the next couple of years with Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack. That's crazy. They're going to give quarterbacks fits. The reason why I thought it was kind of interesting is because you remember Bruce Irvin that came out and made those statements and kind of alluded to he wanted to come to Atlanta. He's from Metro Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. He's from ATL. Obviously, the relationship between him and Dan Quinn, the former defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, so they understand what they want from each other as far as a coach and a player. So he had the opportunity. Maybe the Falcons didn't show interest. Maybe Dan Quinn, as much as you think that would have been a good fit, maybe Dan Quinn didn't push the issue in trying to bring Bruce Irvin here to the ATL. So he's going to the Raiders. They got a hell of a pass rush for many years to come. And you got to believe that Bruce Irvin's only going to get better. Really a smallish, tight defensive end, kind of like a hybrid type defensive end / linebacker. But he's been in the NFL for a couple of years, and so he's only going to get better. He's in the category of a veteran at this point. Chris Ivory, the running back, going to Jacksonville. I don't get that because I think T.J. Yeldon's a solid player and has shown to be a solid player, the rookie running back from Alabama. So now you got a little bit of a crowded backfield with Chris Ivory and T.J. Yeldon. So those are some of the little prominent, news and notes from the world of free agency on yesterday. Still more picks coming in. As a matter of fact, there's a couple more that I'll mention later in today's show. What are your thoughts about NFL free agency? What your team do? What do you think your team should do? As far as your NFL squad. Let me read a couple of these chat messages. This is the Doug Stewart Show, Wild Out Wednesday, March 9th, 2016, and we're brought to you by ID Life. From Sandman, what up, Sandman? He says, I take him over Marvin as well, and talking about Calvin Johnson, but wasn't Edgerrin James a big part of the Colts' offense as well? Oh, yeah, Edgerrin James was a huge part of that offense in the early years of those Indianapolis teams with Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. Edgerrin James was a huge part of those teams, yes. Peter Quill, he says, I always tell cats Peyton made them receivers great. They're already good, but he made them great. I tend to agree with that. I'm not saying, I'm not saying that Marvin Harrison wasn't a fantastic receiver and Peyton's had a bunch of receivers come through there, Dallas Clark at tight end. But I would say if you're talking about a scale, you put the receivers on one side of the scale and you put Peyton on the other side, Peyton probably would have the most weight as far as the success of those offenses for many, many years there in Indianapolis. I would agree with you. From Willie D, why the hell are we thinking about these cats when Randy Moss is still waiting? Well, Randy Moss wasn't eligible this year. I think Randy Moss's first year eligibility might be next year, this coming year, or maybe the year after. Randy Moss hadn't been gone a long time. You remember Randy Moss kind of hung on at the end, too, with the Tennessee Titans, and really didn't do a lot there. And so with the San Francisco 49ers. Randy Moss should be first ballot. Like, I think if there's a clear-cut first ballot Hall of Famer, I think it should be Randy Moss. And y'all know I'm a Randy Moss fan. But you might not like the guy. He might have done a lot of things that you would consider, wrong or offensive. But it is what it is. He was one of the most dominant, not just wide receivers, but players to ever play in the league. He should be first ballot. Probably won't, but he definitely should be. All right, when we get back from the break, man, it'll be hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show. I know the show flies by. And all I'm going to do is read chat. I'll read some of your chat, get some of your thoughts on this NFL free agency. Calvin Johnson, where do you rank him? Is he a Hall of Famer? And we got to get into this Maria Sharapova latest, and some of the commentary and some of the thoughts out there about her and this doping charge. Failed drug test in tennis. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show, baby. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. And this is hour number 2 of a Wild Out Wednesday, March 9th, 2016. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. I'm going to read some of your chat here in a second. You can give us a call at 404-382-0338. You can also email us or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and talking about Megatron, hanging him up, NFL free agency. A couple of little news and notes from the world of NFL I want to get to. Word on the street is that the Cleveland Browns may not cut Johnny Manziel. Now, everybody and their mama, including myself, thought that the Browns would. Yesterday, when NFL free agency started and they had the ability to go ahead and sever ties with Johnny Manziel, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or Cleveland Browns, did not do it. So a couple of reasons why people are speculating that the Browns didn't cut Johnny Manziel on yesterday when they had the ability to do it, save on their salary cap. Number one is they're trying to see if they can actually get something for dude, and they haven't been able to get anything for him right now. But you know what it is with teams. If a team goes into the draft and they're looking to get a quarterback and they can't get one, or one doesn't fall to them in the draft order, you know, they may need a quarterback down the road. As damaged as Johnny Manziel is, he did have some spots last year where he looked like that he would be a solid quarterback in the NFL. And, you know, quarterbacks ain't growing on trees right now. That's why all of these cats are getting all of this crazy type of money. Speaking of which, we'll talk about Brock Osweiler in a second. So that's one reason. And the other reason is the NFL is still waiting on the investigation by the police in Texas concerning Johnny Manziel and the domestic violence complaint made against him. And so maybe if charges are brought up against him, you know, the NFL will swoop in and they'll suspend him. And if they suspend him without pay, then the Browns save some money anyway. You know, and maybe in the back of their minds as well, in the brass for the Cleveland Browns, they say maybe Johnny Manziel gets disciplined. We save some money. We don't have to pay him for 4 or 5, 6 games or whatever it may be. And maybe he figures it out in between that time. We used a high draft pick on him. Maybe, as crazy as it sounds, we keep dude and he figures it out. And he starts to become the quarterback that we drafted coming out of college. I don't know. But I found it kind of odd that he was not released yesterday on the first day that was available for them to do it. And the other little story out of the world of the NFL, word on the street is that Brock Osweiler, quarterback, the remaining quarterback from the Denver Broncos as far as starters for that team last year, is set to get in the range of $14 million a year. Now, he made $660,000 this year. Let me read this chat message that I saw. It's from a man, Sidney Jackson. This kind of leads me into my thought about this Brock Osweiler getting $14 million a year after starting, he start 7 games this season for the Denver Broncos. Word on the street also is that the Houston Texans are reportedly high on trying to get dude. Now, dude is an unrestricted free agent. He can go and sign with any team he wants. It would make sense for him to try to re-sign with the Denver Broncos because he knows the coaching staff. He won a ring there. He actually backed up Peyton Manning, so he kind of got tutored a little bit under Peyton Manning. So it kind of makes sense for him to go back there, but he can go anywhere the hell he wants. And allegedly, the Houston Texans, you would think Houston learned something. Or maybe they didn't learn something. I was going to say Matt Schaub was a big disappointment. Matt Schaub was pretty solid for a couple of years after the Houston Texans picked him up, but he was never great. So this kind of seems like the same type of thing. Sidney Jackson says, people in the media swinging on Peyton's testicle hairs like Tarzan. Dude was horrible last year. He had 9 TDs and 17 interceptions and got benched. If Brock Osweiler wasn't garbage too, Peyton would have stayed on the bench. Now, I'm not as strong as my man Sidney Jackson in saying Brock Osweiler sucked. He was a little bit below average if you look at the entirety of the quarterback position in the NFL. I'm not going to say he sucked. He wasn't as bad as Peyton Manning was last year. So I agree with you in that. He wasn't great, but I don't think he sucked. That being said, the notion of giving Brock Osweiler, a guy, once again, that had average success around a fantastic team for 6 or 7 games last year, the idea of giving him $14 million a year based on that is frankly offensive. It's offensive. Answer me this question. Where did this whole notion that's pretty much across the board right now in the NFL that if a guy is average or mediocre, that the quarterback market is so bad, we just need to pay a guy money that everybody and their mama knows that he's not worth? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you might be a quarterback, and yeah, there might be a lack of great quarterbacks in the NFL, but why is it the norm these days? And you hear these cats say it all the time. Well, you don't have anything else. What are you going to do different? I'll tell you what you do different. You don't pay somebody money that you know that they're worth, that they're not worth. You take that money and you spend it in other positions and you make other parts of your team better. It's not like average quarterbacks haven't won Super Bowls before. You understand what I'm saying? Like, why would you give Brock Osweiler $14 million? Or why would you give any of these other average, mediocre quarterbacks $14, $15, $16 million a year when you know, if you were asked the question, is this quarterback worth this money? Your answer would be no. You know that your answer would be no to that question. Why is it okay? Why is it, an okay thing in 2016 to pay off mediocrity? Like, to me, and this is one of my signature things here, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, like athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, and college athletes being paid. Instead of paying an average quarterback money that you know he's not worth, okay, and there's a salary cap for a reason, and there's a pay scale for a reason, instead of giving $14 million to Brock Osweiler, why don't you split that money up and give $5 million to an all-pro type, Pro Bowl type defensive player at the defensive end position, give $5 million, $6 million to an all-pro type defensive back, and another $5 million to an all-pro type linebacker. Strengthen and fortify your defense. Tell your average quarterback that you start not to make dumbass mistakes and throw the ball to the other team, because that's the most important thing, is protecting the football. So you put your average quarterback out there and tell him not to throw the ball to the other team, take care of the football. Maybe you give a couple of extra dollars to a very good, solid running back, build up your offensive line, you run the football, you don't turn the ball over, and you play field position. Maybe you give a couple of extra dollars to your punter to put you in good field position situations. You fortify your defense, build up your running back, build up your offensive line, get a good punter, and you pay your sorry-ass quarterback the money he deserves. Why don't somebody, and I'm waiting for somebody to do that, because that's actually going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, because the culture, once again, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, the culture right now, the NFL is, we got to pay a sorry-ass quarterback all this money. That's dumb. Like, in what other, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and see, this is why you listen to the Doug Stewart Show, because I think deeply. This is part of the reason. In what other business do you pay somebody what they're not worth? You understand what I'm saying? Well, we can't find anybody better, so we're going to go ahead and give them $14 million. If you're in the front office, and seemingly, this is the other part to the story on the Brock Osweiler thing, like it kind of seems like Denver and John Elway, the GM, the organization, is going to be okay. They're kind of saying, they're going to spend a lot for Brock Osweiler, but if Brock Osweiler decides to go to the Houston Texans, they'll make way without him. Like, they'll be okay. They want him, and they are giving him a lot of money, but if he goes to Texas and plays for the Texans, it's going to be okay. That's kind of like the sentiment you get when you read the story about this. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting when a team decides, based on the way we've been doing things over the last couple of years and the way the NFL is built right now, and all of these teams in these situations deciding to pay their quarterback a lot of money, I can't wait for a team to say, we good. We'll do the best we can with just an average guy that we bring in here. And once again, we tell them not to turn the football over, and we win the game by game management. Don't act like Brad Johnson didn't win a Super Bowl. Don't act like Trent Dilfer didn't win a Super Bowl, okay? What was the common denominator in both those situations? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a phenomenal defense. The Baltimore Ravens had a phenomenal defense. They had quarterbacks that managed the game well. They didn't turn the ball over, and they were just fine. I mean, hell, that happened this year. Okay, the Denver Broncos won a Super Bowl this year with a dominant defense and a quarterback that sucks eggs. This past season in Peyton Manning. So clearly there's a blueprint. Clearly there's a blueprint of success with that type of setup. It just bothers me, man, that you're going to give Brock Osweiler $14 million. Now, it'd be a different story if they think Brock Osweiler is that dude to take them, and be their quarterback for the next 5 or 10 years. But they don't really seem that enthusiastic about giving Brock Osweiler this money. As in the Indianapolis Colts and giving Andrew Luck all of this money. Like, they really feel like Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in the game and is going to be the best quarterback in the next 10 years. Has struggled over the last couple of years, but that's the way that they really feel. And the Broncos don't seem like that with Brock Osweiler. I'd be like, man, freak it. Kick rocks. Get to stepping and don't cut the corners. To quote the great Martin. Hey, when we get back from the break, man, Maria Sharapova, your story ain't adding up, chick. It's not adding up. We'll talk about that up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away.
Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought after and often sold out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. I'm going to a horse trading fair. I am. Shut up. And I'm not even saying whether it's local or where it's at or whatever, but I gotta go see these horses, just put it like that. So there will be the Doug Stewart Show tomorrow and Friday. We will be back bright and early on Monday morning, 10 a.m., right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. So stay tuned for that. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. I'm going to read some of your chat here in a second. We'll do birthdays and a couple of little entertainment news and notes coming up in the next segment. But I wanted to talk about this Maria Sharapova story and then get to some of your chat here. The drug at the center of Maria Sharapova's doping case, you heard about this yesterday. She was nabbed for taking an illegal drug in tennis, banned by tennis a while back. And she says that she'd been taking the drugs for a while. The company that makes the drug says that the drug was regularly given to Soviet troops in the 1980s to boost their stamina while fighting in Afghanistan. Is normally prescribed for medical use for periods of up to 4 to 6 weeks. Ding, 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 ding. Now, Sharapova, 4 to 6 weeks. Sharapova, a 5-time Grand Slam champion, faced possible sanctions after testing positive for meldonium, also known as milodronate, a drug that a Russian tennis star said that she had been using for 10 years for various medical issues. 10 years, heifer? These people just said, man. What was that? There was this cartoon. Was it a cartoon or was it a commercial? You remember back in the day, when you tell one lie, it leads to another. When you tell 2 lies. Y'all remember that commercial, man? I don't even know what the product was or whatever, but that was the commercial. And so basically what these people did is they caught Maria Sharapova in a damn lie or a contradiction, a big-ass contradiction. She said that she'd been using this product, this drug, for over 10 years, and the company came out and was like, nah, you're only supposed to use that thing for like 4 to 6 weeks. Now, it's unclear, based on her statements, and I'm sure her and her attorneys drafted out exactly what she should say and what she shouldn't have said in the little press conference apology thing that she did on yesterday. But yeah. So she didn't mention whether or not she used it every day or whether she just used it every month or twice a couple of times a month or every 3 months or 5 months. So she kind of left that vague. But yeah, the way she kind of said it in the press conferences that she had been ongoingly using this product for over 10 years. And the company came out and says, you a damn lie. We would never tell you to use this drug for 10 years. So just stop. And did y'all see the comments made by Serena Williams? Serena Williams was, I guess, just as you should be with your peers. And I tell the story all the time about how, when we were on radio here in Atlanta, a lot of times we'd hear our peers say negative things about us. Cats we work with would say negative things about us and about our opinions or whatever. And we're supposed to be peers. We're supposed to be on the same team. But we would always try to be professional. We wouldn't say anything back or whatever. We know they're just haters. We know that they got a problem with us because of our success or whatever. So we just ignore it. Whatever, hater. And I even hate using that term. Whatever, that's fine. But Serena came out and was in full support of this chick. And the question you have to ask yourself is, if this was Serena in the same position, would Sharapova and would the rest of the tennis world be saying the same thing about Serena? I think we all know the answer to that. Hell no. And so Serena came out and was in big support and talked about the class that Sharapova had exhibited throughout her career. And all of that sounds good. And I guess that's what you're supposed to do. That's technically, once again, what you're supposed to do. But yeah, it does beg the question to be answered. If this was Serena in the same situation, would Sharapova have come out so strongly in support of her? Would the rest of the tennis players in the sport, the women's tennis players, have come out in that much support of Serena Williams? They've already clowned Serena Williams kind of like sideways, in comments that her fellow tennis players have made about Serena throughout her career already. You let a scandal like this happen to Serena Williams, they'd be killing her. The media in sports would be killing Serena. So I guess that's the proper thing to do, and you should get a ball award for being the bigger person, I guess, Serena. But it's real bootleg the way that we know how sports media would treat Serena if this were the case, if the whole story were flipped around. But ball award to Serena in any regard. So she's going to get suspended from 2 to 4 years. So we'll see how that plays out. From Cornelius Small, he says, Doug, it's whatever the market says. Real estate, you buy one house in one zip code and the exact same house in another zip code would be $30,000 more. The market dictates everything. He's talking about the Brock Osweiler conversation that I had in the last segment as well. You're exactly right. That is very true. The market dictates everything. But there's also a saying that they said in real estate, and I bought many houses in my day, and I've heard this phrase uttered as well. Something's worth, in talking about a house in this particular case, something's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And what I'm saying to you right now is the way the market is in the NFL and the fact that there's this notion that no matter if the guy's good or not, we're going to give him $15 million and just hope that he's actually, proves out to be a good player on the field is crazy. I mean, that's silly. The whole notion of that is silly. Like, if teams would just come together, and I guess it would be some type of collusion so they can't do it, if GMs would come together and say, man, why are we paying $14 million for Brock Osweiler? He's not worth that. Why are teams paying for something that they know is not worth what they're paying? So in the same comparison, when you talk about real estate, like no one would pay for a house, that's not, $50 million or whatever. Let's just say $1 million. They wouldn't pay $1 million for a house that's really worth $300,000 on the grand scale of things if you talk about in relative terms to other quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay, so if you pay Peyton Manning $25 million, does that mean you should pay Brock Osweiler $14 million? I just don't think he's worth the money, just in his truest sense, that he's going to be paid on the open market. Eugene Jackson, Doug, I want to hear your thoughts on Cam Chancellor's incident in Seattle for trying to get inside a damn gym. I mean, it's a bad story. You've heard about that, the whole thing with Cam Chancellor and some of his associates or whatever, somebody on his business staff were trying to, find out some information about a gym. He wants to buy a gym. And they rolled up on this particular gym, and the gym was closed already, but there was somebody inside. A white lady was inside behind the counter, and she saw Cam Chancellor and his little crew, and she called the police on him. I mean, you know what it is, man. You know racial profiling, even though they'll tell you it doesn't exist and that it's much better in 2016. You know good and damn well racial profiling exists. And if you heard the phone call between her and the police and the 911 operator, she mentioned something about it's like a couple black people and it's like 3 white people. And the first thing out of the person on the other line's mouth was, tell me more about these black people. Can you describe the black guy to me? That was the first thing that they went to. So, that's really, it's a sad story, but it's a statement. It's a story that shows the real world. From Greg O'Brien, I just looked it up. Some guy named Trevor Simon out of Northwestern NFL career, 1 pass, 1 yard. From Corey, hi Stewies, in meeting today, Elway will not get pigeonholed by Brock. He did not allow Peyton to dictate to him, so he will not let Brock do so either. Yeah, I mentioned that in talking about the story. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Whereas everybody agrees we got to pay the best thing we got, this exorbitant amount of money, just because that's what we're doing these days. That's what teams are doing. Even though we know he's not worth it, to me, it seems like that the Denver Broncos and John Elway are not going to let Brock Osweiler just punk them. They almost have the mindset of, damn it, we'll be fine with whatever we roll out there because our defense is a beast. And once again, they show that to be the case this year. It's not like they don't have recent, historical information to the point. Okay? Peyton Manning sucked this year. They carried Peyton Manning's old, sorry, decrepit ass to a championship this year. And that's the truth. That's what D'Angelo Williams was saying. Okay? That's what he was saying. And he didn't even have to say it. Like, it's obvious. If you know anything about football, you know that Peyton Manning was dragged to a championship this year. They won a Super Bowl this year despite Peyton Manning. They did. Phenomenal player. We're talking career-wise, phenomenal player. But this year in the NFL, and in the Super Bowl, and in the playoffs, Peyton Manning sucked. There's no denying that. And the Broncos still won a Super Bowl. So yeah. In their mind, they're like, dude, we want you. You know our system. We think you can play. You got a couple of the intangibles that successful quarterbacks have had in the NFL. But if you got to go to Houston, man, go ahead and do what you got to do, bruh. Go ahead and do what you got to do. We good. We'll figure it out. We'll be just fine. All right, we get back from the break, man. Birthdays, entertainment news. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. Thank you for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. Hey, do me a favor, man. Tell one person about the Doug Stewart Show. Tell them about the most fun, the most interactive, the realest, the treeless sports and guy talk show in America. They'll thank you for it. I mean, you're actually going to make them happy. It's like a gift if you tell somebody about the Doug Stewart Show. So make sure and do that. All right, let's talk a couple of little birthdays today. Today's date is March 9th, 2016, celebrating his 29th birthday today. Good Lord. Bow Wow was 29 years old today. What? Protege of the great Snoop Doggy Dogg. His real name is Shad Gregory Moss. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was Bow Wow's real name. Bow Wow is 29 years old. The story also says, or his little background says, Bow Wow's got a kid. Did y'all know Bow Wow was reproducing? Like, he always gonna be Bow Wow to me. And I think he tried to tell people not to call him Bow Wow no more. That man gonna be 75 years old. We still gonna be calling him, or at least I am. We could still gonna be calling that man Bow Wow. Happy birthday, Bow Wow. All right, so we can do a top 5. And I know this is a very sensitive issue because a lot of people refer to me as short, which I'm not. I'm slightly above average height for citizens in this country. But I can do a top 5 shortest entertainers that I've met throughout my life doing radio and TV for the last 16 years. Number 1, shortest guy that we've ever had in studio that I've met face to face that's a big time star. And I'm talking about how big this star is as well. Number 1 shortest guy that I've ever met in my life, man, is Kevin Hart. If Kevin Hart is 4'11", my name ain't Sam. Or is Sam, however that story goes, that saying goes. Kevin Hart is super, super little, man. I mean, like, TV doesn't even do him justice of how little he is. Number two is Bow Wow. But the thing about Bow Wow is he was young, so I always consider Bow Wow just a little, youngster or whatever. But I think when we actually had him in the studio, he was right around 20 years old. But he's a little dude. And coming in at number 3, we didn't actually have this guy in studio, but I've been like in the same club with him and perused by the same VIP before. I wasn't in it. I wasn't throwing up bottles or anything like that, but I just walked by and could size him up. Jermaine Dupri is a little dude, too. Bless his heart. Man can't help it that he 5 foot something. Happy birthday to Bow Wow. Celebrating his 36th birthday today is NBA player Matt Barnes. Crazy self. Crazy as a loon. Happy birthday to Matt Barnes. Today is your special day. Celebrating his 36th birthday today is Chingy. Saint Lunatic rapper. Down with what's his name? St. Louis rapper. I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm taking a lot of hits to the head, man. I'm sorry. But Chingy turns 36 years old today. Happy birthday to him. Some little news and notes from the world of entertainment. Jada Pinkett responds to Chris Rock. You know, Chris Rock kind of went off on her at the Grammys or at the Oscars. He says, quote, Jada said she's not coming. Referring to Jada Pinkett Smith. I was like, isn't she on a TV show? Jada's going to boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. That's how Chris Rock would have said it. Or that's how he said it. And Jada basically responded and says, it comes with the territory, sweetheart. She told X17, a news agency, hey, look, it comes with the territory, but we got to keep it moving. There's a lot of stuff we got to handle, a lot of stuff in our world right now. We got to keep it moving. So basically, Jada Pinkett Smith took the high road, kind of like Serena Williams with Maria Sharapova, and she just, let it roll off her back like water off a duck's back, and she kept it moving. I kind of felt some type of way about Chris Rock. Like, he didn't even have to do that. Like, you would think they're cool. You would think that they understand they have some of the same plights in Hollywood. And I'm a fan of Chris Rock. As a matter of fact, I'm about to ask him for some money. I got to ask him, man. But to me, that seemed almost like, it's almost like the thing earlier we talked about today with Mike Tomlin. Like, why did he even go there? He didn't even have to go there. Like, if he wouldn't have mentioned Jada in a negative manner at all, no one would have said anything. And I understand you're a comedian and you take things to the limit and you push the envelope and, he's funny as hell. I mean, he's a great comedian, one of the all-timers, but he didn't have to take a dig at Jada Pinkett Smith. In her mind, what she was doing in this whole boycott thing of the Oscars was a just and noble thing. And once again, I'm not mad at Chris Rock for saying it or, anything that he talked about at the Grammys or the Oscars that night in his monologue or there and after, but I almost think that he didn't even have to do that. Nobody would have been mad one way or the other. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Also, winter is coming. That's right. The new trailer for the 6th season of HBO's Game of Thrones was released yesterday. The show premieres April 24th. So we're not far away. And if you've seen the trailer, man, phenomenal. They do good trailers, man. HBO always does good trailers. And I cannot wait for season 6 of the Game of Thrones premiering April 24th. And as I just talked about it a couple of days ago, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I think I had Game of Thrones at number 6 as far as my list of top 5 TV series of all times. I think I have them at number 6. I'm looking back at my notes right now. Or number 5, I thought. Oh, no, I actually had them at number 3. And the only reason I have them at number 3 and maybe not even higher is because the show is very intricate. It's very, very intricate. They literally have 35 different storylines going on at the same time. So you got to pay real close attention to it. I actually really figured everything out after watching the whole series again for the second time. But a phenomenal series. Obviously, they put a ton of money into it. A lot of money into that series, man. A big-ass budget. I mean, they're all over the world, seemingly. Great show. April 24th, Game of Thrones. Hey, before I forget, man, join me in congratulating our fellow Stewie and listener to the Doug Stewart Show, my man Earl McDowell. Earl McDowell and his lovely soon-to-be bride, Dottie Pennington, are getting married this Friday. Yes! Congratulations, folks. Woo-wee. He actually brought her out. I had an event a couple of years ago, and my man Earl McDowell, he's from St. Louis. He's from the Lou, and he's proud. He actually traveled to ATL. He was in town for the weekend, and he actually came out to the party that I had, man. Real good dude, real good people, man. Congratulations, bro, and good luck to you on your nuptials this Friday night. You getting married on a Friday night? I think he had his little bachelor party this past week. But once again, man, congratulations are in order, and good luck to my man Earl McDowell and his soon-to-be wife, Dottie Pennington. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, man. That was about 3 or 4 years ago, man. So you still hanging with that chick? She must be good to go. Go ahead, man. Make her an honest woman. Go ahead and jump the broom, Kunta. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Congratulations. Do they still jump the broom? Now, if you're listening to the show, you're saying, what the hell do you mean jump the broom? I mean, there's a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds that listen to the Doug Stewart Show. Not everybody is familiar with the term jumping the broom. Look it up on Wikipedia. All right, when we get back from the break, man. Dwight Howard in New York City? New York City? We'll talk about that. I'll read some of your chat. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedugstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. If you're not doing what the hell are you doing, this is the Doug Stewart Show. Don't forget, in about 15 minutes, man, the Kicking It with Kesey show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. My man Kesey always talking deep stuff. A discussion on the justice system and how felons are treated as second-class citizens. Also discussing the book by Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow. So make sure you stay tuned today for the Kicking It with Kesey show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. The Doug Stewart Show is brought to you by ID Life. Go to thedugstewartshow.idlife.com. Take your free assessment. Get healthier in 2016. And this segment is brought to you by my good folks from Strickland Security. Strickland Security has over 55 years combined experience in the business. Great people. They're not going to try to upsell you on no crap or nothing like that and get all your money and whatnot. They're going to try to take care of you, all right, as a personal favor to me. They also have this neighborhood watch program that they can come and talk to your homeowners association about. They can get you a basic alarm system starting at just $15 a month. They can fix your alarm system. They can give you a big boy alarm system with all the bells and whistles, everything like that. Holla at my folks at StricklandSecurity.com. That's StricklandSecurity.com. All right? Yeah. All right, you still got a couple of minutes left to get into the Doug Stewart Show with your call or your thoughts on anything like that. So just hit me up at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. But I'm reading your chat. I'm going to get to some of your chat here in a second. Last story I kind of wanted to throw out there was this story coming out that Dwight Howard, when he becomes a free agent, he can opt out of his deal after this season. If he opts out, that he'd be interested in going to play for the New York Knicks. Now, this whole story makes no sense at all from the Knicks' perspective and from Dwight Howard's perspective. One, because Dwight Howard has never shown, and y'all know I'm not a Dwight Howard fan. We got a long history. It goes way, way back to where we almost had to throw hands on a flight coming back from Connecticut. And I'm joking. I don't think it was ever to that point where I thought I might have to defend myself. But Dwight Howard has shown throughout his career that he's sensitive. The last media market that you want to play in is New York City. Because in New York City, they treat athletes like, getting under their skin is kind of like a game to them. And so if you can't handle the media and what the media has to say about you in Orlando and in L.A., which are fairly tame in relative terms to the New York City media, why would you consider going to play for the New York Knicks? Okay, you don't like that. You've shied away from that type of thing. You shied away, and it's kind of like, it's strange because it's kind of like an oxymoron. He wants to be in New York and L.A., but then he doesn't. He figures out that he doesn't. He had the spotlight on him. He was a big fish in a small pond in Orlando. They actually went to a championship at a young point in his career, and that wasn't enough. He went to L.A. The lights were too bright for him out there in L.A., which is crazy. One of the craziest things that I've ever heard of in my life. An NBA center doesn't want to play in L.A. with that great history of centers. All right. So he leaves there. Now we find out that him and James Harden aren't getting along together. And the guy's name is Nelly. That's the guy's name in St. Louis, the rapper. I'm sorry. His name just popped in my head. Nelly. So you go to Houston. And once again, you're seemingly not able to get along with your teammates. Wasn't able to get along with teammates in Orlando and wanted to go to L.A. and couldn't get along with Kobe. And now word on the street is can't get along with James Harden, and he's getting too many shots, not getting enough shots. And now he wants to leave and go to New York. with Carmelo? Oh, you think you're not getting shots in Houston? You getting even less shots in New York with Carmelo Anthony. So the whole thing makes no sense to me. The whole thing makes no sense to me, man. And if that's what he does, it'll just be interesting fodder for me on this show because I love me talking about some Dwight Howard. I mean, the only thing I like more than talking about Dwight Howard is pancakes with syrup. That's about it. In the chat room from Dollars and Cents. Yeah, Jada had to take the high road because you can never win versus a comedian. That's a very true statement. I think it probably has a little bit more to do with it than that. But yeah, there's a general rule. You don't want to get into snapping on comedians because they got stuff ready for that type of thing. Like that's what they actually do for a living is they snap on people. Okay? They play the dozens for a living. So Jada Pinkett, as talented as she is, she probably don't want to get into the dozens with no Chris Rock. Because Chris Rock been playing the dozens at a high level probably since he was 7 or 8 years old. Let me grab a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, what's happening?
What's up? Who's this?
T from Huntsville, sir.
T from Huntsville. What up, baby?
Man, just thought I'd get in.
It's good to hear from you, T.
Just enjoying the show, man. Just thought I'd get in before you take that 5-day weekend, sir. Hey, man,
it's actually 4, T. It's actually 4, bruh.
Oh, 4. You come back Saturday?
No, man. Tomorrow is Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, my bad. Yeah, you got me on that one. All right, man, this whole Brock Osweiler thing, man, my thing is, okay, the media and the way they cover stories, and I think that has a lot to do with perception. My only thing with Osweiler is he just got in an incident where he pushed a woman in public over verbiage or she was trying to usher him out, and it's being downplayed to the utmost degree. And I heard a guy talking about it the other day, and all he said was, he shouldn't have pushed her, and he moved on from that. And then he turned him into a hero by saying when the dude came to fight him and he didn't want to fight, instead of saying he was a coward like they did on our test when he didn't want to fight Ben Wallace, they said he was smart for, not fighting and calming the situation down. Mm-hmm. Now, you take a look at that, and then you look at Dante Fowler, who was watching 2 dumb women fight, but they blamed him for it. The coverage said he refereed a fight. Why didn't the coverage say Osweiler assaulted a woman? I thought the NFL hated that.
Right.
My thing at the end of the day, man, it's about perception, man. They simply don't go after them. They like white people. They don't like black quarterbacks, which is why Houston refuses to get one. I don't think John Elway wants one, which is why they're fawning over Osweiler, who was average at best. The 7 games he had are not more impressive than what Geno Smith has on his resume, but I bet you the average dumbass doesn't know that. It's just about perception. You got to consider the source from the media that, what they're giving you, man. Fowler watched 2 people fight, but it's his fault. Osweiler actually put his hands on a woman, and it means absolutely nothing, man. You have to consider the source, and if the source is not credible, then the information they give you is bad, and if the information they give you is bad, you should not take them seriously. I appreciate you letting me get in, man, and look, man, if you don't get what I'm saying and you still believe everything the media tells you, you're not, overly intelligent. You're just obedient. You're not thinking on a higher plane. You're just getting along. And you're not, a higher thinker, or you're not a more intelligent person. You just like being in the matrix and you're comfortable. And I'm gone.
Appreciate the call, T. I didn't even talk about the Osweiler thing. Well, you seen the video where he actually got into some little fracas. They were leaving a pizza spot or something like that, him and his girlfriend. And his girlfriend got into some type of dispute with another couple or whatever. And Osweiler, the other young lady, tried to put hands on Osweiler's girl. And Osweiler kind of moved her hand off, kind of shoved her almost. And then when he was walking away, the other young lady's boyfriend, I guess, or somebody, in relation to the other young lady involved in this story, came and monkey pushed Osweiler in the back. And he turned around, looked at the dude, and he didn't do nothing. Now, T is exactly right in a lot of what he just said. The narrative is very obvious to me, the way that the media pushes the narrative in the direction that it goes. And they easily, you've always heard the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. Couldn't be more true of the case in this story, where if it was another quarterback, then Osweiler would have been inciting a riot or something like that. He pushed a young lady. Now I will say this, and I always try to be fair and biased in this. The reason why I think that I probably didn't even bring this story up is because I do believe that Osweiler, one, was trying to be a peacemaker in the whole thing. I do believe that. he did put his hands on someone. And that allegedly is the reason why, not allegedly, that's the reason why Ray Rice was and went through everything that he went through. But be honest with yourself. And I'm talking to T as well right now. There was no malicious intent to what Osweiler did to the young lady and in comparison to what, Ray Rice did to his girlfriend in the elevator. One was very, very malicious in talking about Ray Rice. And the other one, I could see how you could say the guy was trying to be a peacemaker. I think he was trying to be a peacemaker. And yeah, the comparison that you made about Ron Artest and, saying he was a coward and not wanting to fight Ben Wallace, you're exactly right. The way it kind of comes across is, Ron Artest was scared of Ben Wallace, but the other night in this story with Brock Osweiler, no one's saying that he was scared. The term that they're using is he showed great character. He showed great judgment and not fighting on the street. And, you can factor into it as well as he's up for a new deal. He doesn't want to get in any trouble. I can understand all of that. All of that makes sense. But I guess T's bigger point is that the media controls the narrative. And we've said that term and used that term a lot around here. And that's the truest thing that's probably ever been uttered out of T's mouth in his life, is that the media does, in fact, indeed control the narrative.
You gonna eat your beans and cornbread?
Yes, it's your grown man Gator.
Thank you for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Tremendous week, albeit a short week. I got to go see about these horses. I'll tell you more about it on Monday, all right? So tomorrow and Friday, no TDSS, but we will be back once again Monday, bright and early, 10 a.m. as we normally do, 99% of the time, all right? Don't worry about it. We'll be back on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on SME. My man Kesey is coming up next with the Kicking It with Kesey show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Make sure you give that a listen. And y'all be careful out there on them streets this weekend. All right? We'll be back Monday. Same Doug Stewart time. Same Doug Stewart channel. All right, hold on. I'm coming. Hold that horse. Hold that horse.
Scoop up a dime, set her out. I'm a cute. Oh, sleeping 6, 7, 8. I'm a cute. I'm a cute. I'm a cute. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. Yeah, I just wanna live my life. I'm a cute. Cute sci-fi till I die. I'm a cute. Atomic dog at my wedding. I'm a cute. If I have a little boy, he gon' play as cute. I'ma have him in the cut getting good. I'm a cute. Everybody in the hood knows daddy is a cute. I had to do a song that was trippy for the cute. I'm a cute. I'm a cute. When I was knee high, I dreamed to be a cute. And now I'm 25, damn right, I'm a cute. And a step show one day, I'm a cute. Man, when we get second place, I'm a cute. Wreck my LB, dust them off, I'm a cute. Drop chicken on the floor, brush it off, I'm a cute. 4 a.m. still out, hanging with the Q's. I'm a cute, I'm a cute. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it's your grown man Gator. Yeah, I guess by now y'all can tell I'm a cute. Ain't trying to talk down, just saying I'm a cute. I still got love for the those who ain't cute. Some of my tightest partners ain't no cues. They know one thing for sure, I'm a cute. Duty calls, gotta go, no offense, I'm a cute. And they got my backstage line for the cues. I'm a cute, I'm a cute. Mama told me long time ago about them cues. Told me I could go Greek, but don't be a cute. It was in my nature to go and be a even in preschool, mama knew I was a girl. Asked me my name, I told her I'm a cute. Teacher asked me my name, I told her I'm a cute. Cops won't ID, I tell them I'm a cute. I'm a cute, I'm a cute. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. Hey, you know how it is when you roll with the Q's. Yes, bruhs in the club, don't throw up your hooks. If you ain't a bruh, don't throw up your hooks. Bruhs in the club, don't throw up your hooks. If you ain't a bruh, don't throw up your hooks. Bruhs in the club, don't throw up your hooks. If you ain't a bruh, don't throw up the hooks. Bruhs in the club, don't throw up your hooks. If you ain't a bruh, don't throw up the hooks. But you know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how it is when you roll with the Q's. You know how